is the combination needed. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with Paul Maguire. Well, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, there have been problems, what with all-pro running back Barry Foster out for the season, with quarterback Neil O'Donnell playing with an ailing arm. The Browns feel that they must stop the Steelers' outstanding tight end Eric Green, who has been the key to whatever offense Pittsburgh has been able to generate.
He really has been, and he's the only guy in the Pittsburgh Steelers that the opposing teams put double coverage on. And Neil O'Donnell told us yesterday, he said, look, I'm not going to make any bones about it. I'm going to try to force the ball into this guy, even if he is double covered.
All right, and the Browns come off a 42-14 thrashing of the Los Angeles Rams last week, encouraged by the superb play of their quarterback, Vinny Testaverde, who set an NFL efficiency record, 21 of 23 last week against a weak Rams secondary.
Well, earlier in the season, Vinny Testaverde played very well for the Cleveland Browns. Then they got hurt, and when he came back, he's playing well again. And Bill Belichick, the head coach, said, hey, Vinny Testaverde is the quarterback of the future.
All right, the Steelers kicking off, and Gary Anderson putting it into the air. The return by Leroy Hoard. The Cleveland Browns, a team that started out at 5 up and 2 down, and some extracurricular activity right at the start. You saw backup linebacker Rico Mack involved for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Browns' offensive line of Jones, Hoover, the rookie Everett, Dahl, and Williams. Testaverde, the quarterback. Eric Metcalf, who did not practice throughout the week because of that bruised leg injury, is okay. He's in the backfield of Tommy Vardell. Michael Jackson will operate as the third wide receiver. Now it changed. Leroy Hoard will start in the backfield, and that is Metcalf peeling off to the right side. And on first down, it's Hoard tripped up. Keenan McCardle is the starting wide receiver coming off the 2-touchdown performance last week. As you look at the Steeler front seven, Davidson, Steed, and Evans up front. Green, Kirkland, Brown, and Lloyd. Lloyd making it back after sitting out last week with a sprained hamstring. DJ Johnson was a question mark after suffering a rib injury, but he is in there along with Woodson, Lake Perry. When they go to the 6 backs to the dime, it's Figures and Jones. So second down play. It's 2nd and 8 from the 26-yard line. Penalty flag is down as Hoard picks up just a couple. The referee is Dick Hantak, and we'll hear from Dick right here.
Offside Pittsburgh. So it'll be 2nd down and about 3.
Offsides, defense number 95. 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, 2nd down.
Well, Greg Lloyd coming back. Anyway, here's the guy we're going to be watching. Now watch, he's up on the top side. He gets across. He doesn't touch anybody. If he could get back, he wouldn't be offside. But he didn't. You know, they actually warn players now, too, because if they get into that neutral zone, it sometimes gets the offensive guys moving. So they'll warn defensive players, don't do that.
It is a 2nd down and 3 at the 31-yard line. And it's the second back coming through again. Hoard. It has been all Leroy Hoard here at the start. Paul, I mentioned at the start of the telecast, the Browns at one point at 5 and 2. They have dropped 2 of the last 3, 6 of their last 8. It has been a year of chaos for that man, head coach Bill Belichick, triggered by the controversy involving Belichick and Bernie Kosar, leading to the departure of Kosar. You get the idea that the Browns coaching staff is very happy that the season is coming to an end, although they have seen some promising things here at the end of the year.
And the only thing, well, I'll get to it in a second.
3rd down and 3. And Vardell met by Woodson. And the Steelers appear to be pumped up. The crowd certainly is here at the start as the Browns fall short of a 1st down.
Yeah, but take a look at the pass plays of Vinny Testaverde and the Cleveland Browns. They're 1-yard pass plays. You need 3 yards and you throw a 1-yard pass play out to the outside. You're not going to do anything with it. You got to get the ball downfield.
And here is Brian Hansen getting set to punt to Rod Woodson. Rod Woodson named the Steelers' most valuable player by a vote of his teammates earlier this week, calling for the fair catch, muffed it, and is able to cover up. Good punt, 50-yarder by Hansen. All right, let's set the Pittsburgh offense as Neil O'Donnell comes out. His offensive line, Jackson, Love, Pro Bowler DeMonte Dawson making it once again. Strelzik for Carlton Hasselrig at right guard, but we will see Carlton a little bit later on, and Searcy at right tackle. Leroy Thompson for the injured Barry Foster, along with Merrill Hodge. The receivers Graham and Stone, and the tight end Eric Green, who last week in Seattle had 7 catches, 119 yards. Yancey Thigpen comes in as the third wideout. The Steelers start from their 18-yard line. We're just underway with no score, and it is Thompson for a short pickup, stopped by the right defensive end, Anthony Pleasant. It's Davidson. Check that. No, that's the Steeler front 7. Yes, we want to see the Cleveland front 7. And Paul, I guarantee we will in a moment.
That guy we're looking at there is Clay Matthews. He's been around a long time, and there's some questions. Is he going to give it up after this year? We'll talk about that. I don't think so.
Yes, Clay, 37 years old, in his 16th NFL season. Leroy Thompson able to get outside and picks up the first down. Bringing across the 30. It's a 12-yard advance. Stevan Moore made the stop.
Leroy Thompson going to the left of the screen. Watch him when he makes that. There's the block there, and he makes that move back inside. That's Searcy, who makes number 72, makes the excellent block. First down. Conservative, both of these teams in the beginning of this football game.
Leroy Thompson featuring a style where he tries to make people miss. He will run outside in contrast to the running game of Barry Foster right there. He started to move inside, try to cut, and was hit down by Stevan Moore. Now the eagerly awaited look at the front 7, Burnett, Jones, Perry, and Pleasant. Pepper Johnson now in a starting role, an outside linebacker. Mike Johnson in the middle, and Clay Matthews on the other side. It's Hilliard, Mustafa, Moore, and Turner. Bill Belichick telling us he feels that Stevan Moore has had a Pro Bowl caliber season.
He just made a great play right there. Stopping for no gain.
It's a second down and about 9. O'Donnell with a long look, and he's hauled down. Michael Dean Perry and Anthony Pleasant combining on the sack of Neil O'Donnell.
Neil O'Donnell was looking for Eric Green, and Mike Johnson, number 59, covers Eric Green one-on-one, the linebacker on the big tight end. O'Donnell's looking downfield. There's just basically one-on-one coverage downfield. No one has a chance. Look at this. There's Johnson on Green. I mean, he's got him covered all over the field. That's great. Great coverage.
It is a third down and 13 back at the 28-yard line. The lone deep back is Thompson. O'Donnell out of the shotgun and unloads one. Nice catch for the first down and more. Yancey Thigpen, who came in as the third wide receiver. And that's good for 27 yards. Eric Turner on the coverage.
This is what you call putting the ball right in behind the zone defense. If you take a look at it, when you see that zone defense sitting up in there and then get the ball downfield, Selwyn Jones throws 22, but look at the safety doesn't get over there. The corner isn't fast enough, and then Thigpen gets right between them. That's a perfect throw. Now he's got the good arm here today.
Yancey Thigpen in his second year from Winston-Salem State. At one time a 4th-round draft pick of the Chargers. From the 44, Thompson stopped by Perry. Now O'Donnell last week in Seattle with Pittsburgh playing catch-up had a career-high 43 pass attempts, 20 of 43, but Paul, as we discussed earlier, he was wild, throwing high, off target, and to this point he has been on target.
But and he said, he really said to us that yesterday, I don't know which arm I'm going to bring.
Yes.
He's got tendonitis of the elbow. He's got a bad shoulder, and a lot of times the ball just gets away from him.
Second down and 8 at the 42 in Cleveland territory. O'Donnell with the quick release to the outside man Eric Green, and he could not hold on.
They had a blitz on that time, and Stevan Moore, number 27, is the safety, covering Green by himself. Wasn't even close and Green just drops his ball. It's a perfect pass. Look at Green. Releases inside. Leaves Stevan Moore inside, and look out to the outside. This ball hits him right in the hands, and it looks like he's turning to look downfield to run. And here's the guy that, you know, is not in the Pro Bowl. Told us yesterday should be in the Pro Bowl. I kind of agree with him. I think he should have been. He just dropped the ball.
Keith Jackson of Miami, who was voted to the Pro Bowl, came out today and said he did not deserve to get the nod. And he mentioned Eric Green. O'Donnell again in trouble and runs it out. Once again, he could not find anyone.
Well, Strelzek saved his life because Rob Burnett had a dead beat on O'Donnell and could have laid him out. And Strelzek comes back and makes an excellent block. And to save O'Donnell, that enabled him to run with the ball. On the top of the screen, take a look. You'll see 90 coming in right here. See him right here? He's got a shot, and here comes Strelzek, number 73. Makes the play. O'Donnell gets to the outside, loses a little bit of yardage, but they're going to have to punt.
So Mark Royals will punt from his 42-yard line. Mark Carrier and Eric Metcalf are back. They want to keep it away from Metcalf. They do not want to give him the ball because he just killed them in that earlier meeting. And Royals able to put it out of bounds. Rookie out of Michigan, first-round draft pick of the Cleveland Browns, their starting center, Steve Everett, who, Paul, you'd agree is a little bit different than your normal NFL player. Steve does like to come out a little bit early. I guess this about an hour and a half before game time. Likes to get a feel of the field and the ambiance and
he's fully dressed. I mean, he's
Yes.
got all his pads. There's nobody out. There's nobody there. There are not even any. There's no fans. I mean, it's just Steve. He's wandering around, trying to find someone to talk to, and no one will talk to him. He's going to be in a Pro Bowl, this guy, though. I'll tell you that. He's a great center.
All right, the Browns from their 13. We have no score. 8.5 remaining. First quarter. Metcalf tries to get outside, but stacked up. And the ball was knocked free. It is covered up by the Steelers, but apparently it is being ruled that Metcalf was down. They will bring it back. In that earlier game back in October was Eric Metcalf on those 2 long punt returns for touchdowns. So the Browns very wary of this man.
They really are, and they're not going to let him get to the outside. They're going to force him inside. Now take a look. When he's down the ground, if you're hit, the ground can't cause a fumble. If you're not hit and hit the ground, the ball comes out, obviously it can cause a fumble.
It's a second down. 13 from the 10. Penalty flags are tossed. Metcalf getting the call once again.
Well, Gene Williams, excuse me, number 62, the right tackle, left a little early.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
I love the players. Rod Woodson, they look at the bench. Should we take the penalty? You have to take the penalty. There's no question. The play had already stopped because of an offensive penalty, and you have to take it. You don't look at the bench and say, did we take it or don't we?
It is sent back to a second down and 18 at the 5. Vinny Testaverde at quarterback reclaimed the starting job from Todd Philcox some 3 weeks back. Takes the deep drop and throws behind Metcalf.
They were trying to run a screen to the outside, and Chad Brown, number 94, the linebacker, was right there. There was just no place. Keenan McCardle's running downfield with Rod Woodson, one-on-one coverage on the right-hand side of the screen. And here comes the screen. But look at the play of Brown, 94. That's good.
Chad Brown, second-round draft pick out of Colorado earlier this week. He was named the Steelers Rookie of the Year. It's a third and 18 from the 5. Draw play. Metcalf stopped dead in his tracks and a flag thrown once again. Gerald Williams and Chad Brown combine to get the wraps on Metcalf.
It looks like there's motion by the Cleveland Browns. Now that play went through because if the man is in motion and he turns upfield too soon, you're not allowed to do that. Now you can refuse this penalty because the play went through.
Illegal shift. Offense. 2 men moving prior to the snap. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
See, if the linemen move before, now the play stops, it's top dead. But now you got a legal shift. You got 2 people moving. They'll let the play go through.
And we have seen a festival of flags here on the early go. And Brian Hansen deep in his end zone, punting for the 2nd time. Rod Woodson out at midfield. And here's Woodson. Ran into his own man and is taken down at the 46-yard line. 3-yard return off the 46-yard punt. Marv Albert, Paul Maguire from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 7:12 to go in this first quarter. The Steelers and the Browns are scoreless to make the playoffs. Bill Cowher and his Steelers must win, combined with losses by 2 of the 3 following teams, the Dolphins, the Raiders, and the Jets. Miami playing at New England with no score. Raiders are home for Denver in a 4 o'clock start, and the Jets play at Houston tonight. First down at the 47-yard line, and it's Thompson. Took a hard hit. The ball was knocked free, but carries out of bounds. Stephon Moore with that shot on Thompson. We're set for an update. Let's go to Jim Lampley.
And we go to Arrowhead Stadium, Marv, where after a 55-yard John Casey field goal staked the Seattle Seahawks to a 3-0 lead, Montana came back with that 14-yard shot to Willie Davis. The Chiefs scoring on top 7-3 in the first. Back to Marv and Paul.
All right, Jim and Paul, it's nice to see that they finally cleaned up Hannah's mess in the studio. That was just embarrassing yesterday, all that confetti.
She must have had a real party.
Oh, 2nd down and 9 off the play action. And O'Donnell showing a strong arm here today, able to rifle out to Dwight Stone, who was hit by the left corner Randy Hilliard. That is just short of the first down.
Again, he's got the good arm with him today, and here is the throw on the outside. Stone makes a nice move. Takes the defender back towards the goal line, Hilliard, and then comes up to meet the ball, not wait on the ball.
And they spot it at the 40, so it's a 3rd down and 3 at the 40-yard line. 6:20 remaining in this first quarter. Neil O'Donnell in his 4th year out of the University of Maryland. Now throws to the outside, but Stone is stripped. Eric Turner on the coverage. In recent weeks, the Pittsburgh Steelers receivers have had all kinds of problems holding on to the football. We saw it earlier with a wide open Eric Green not able to hang on, and now Stone had it knocked away.
Randy Hilliard, look at this play by number 39. I mean, he is in there, gets his arm in there, knocks the ball away from Stone. Outstanding play. Here's O'Donnell's reaction. I mean, you can't throw the ball any better than this. He got it to the outside. Hilliard makes a nice move on the ball.
So the punting unit checks in. Mark Royals from his 45-yard line again, keeping it away from Metcalf. And let's see, was it downed? Yes, it was. Beautiful play by Yancey Thigpen.
Outstanding play by Yancey Thigpen. Watch this. He's going to catch the ball, and he knows he's going to fall in the end zone. So he throws the ball back out to bad hands Davenport.
That's nice.
And he knocks the ball, almost knocks the ball back into the end zone. It goes out of bounds to 1. Lucky. That was outstanding. Rose, you think he likes this? Watch. Hello. Yeah. Okay.
Charles Davenport, the man you have given the new moniker, Paul, in his 2nd year out of North Carolina State, a quarterback in college and a wide receiver here in the NFL. But Yancey Thigpen came up with the big play, and Cleveland will start out from its 1-yard line. 5:57 remaining in this first quarter with no score. Last week, Pittsburgh beaten in Seattle 16-6, but losses by Denver, Jets, and Raiders kept the Steelers in contention just a week ago. Steelers thought it'd be all but over if they lost at Seattle. But with those other clubs losing, it kept Pittsburgh's hopes alive, but they must win here today against the Browns.
They've got to get the ball downfield. I mean, you're looking at this offense, And all that they're doing, they got a flag on this play. Marv, they've got all 11 guys on near the line of scrimmage. I mean, and from hash mark to hash mark. And there's no place really to run the ball except off tackle or up the middle. And so Pittsburgh, they jam all of their guys in. You've got to run some kind of play action, get the ball downfield. The Cleveland Browns have not even attempted a pass downfield yet in this ball game.
Offside. Defense, number 91, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down.
And number 91 is Kevin Green, who has had a terrific season. 3 sacks last week, 11.5 for the year.
The Green's offside. He's also in the middle. But take a look where everyone's at. I mean, they're all there. They have tight ends. Here they come again. They're at the 5-yard line, and it's almost impossible to go wide or downfield.
And it's now a 1st and 5. And again, the handoff to Vardell. Gets outside and has a first down. Nice cut. Tommy Vardell running for 14, stopped by the inside linebacker, Chad Brown.
Ron Wolfley is the guy that gets the block that springs it to the outside. Wolfley, 26, is coming up, and he'll make a block right here that gets Vardell to the outside, along with number 96, who is a defensive tackle, James Jones, who's playing in the backfield. So they're using that power back. Vardell gets the block there. Here's Vardell inside, and Jones on the outside. Put a move on Rod Woodson.
And it's a first down at the 19-yard line. Here's Vardell again, finding a big hole. And has another Cleveland first down. Chad Brown made the stop.
James Jones is blocking again downfield, but they're sealing things off to the inside. And here comes James Jones coming down the line out of the backfield. Look at this block on Woodson, knocks into the outside. Woodson saying, wait a minute, there's supposed to be some smaller people back there. Look at the size of this guy.
James Jones goes 6'2", about 290 pounds. He has been used as the big back in goal line sets. Scored a touchdown earlier this season, now being used as a blocking back. First down at the 31-yard line. Again, Vardell follows Jones, this time a short pickup. Donald Evans, the right defensive end, on the tackle. Right here, let's take a look at the natural gas quarterback efficiency ratings. John Elway still on top, followed by Joe Montana. Neil O'Donnell of the Steelers ranked number 6.
Then he's not ranked.
Now, Vinny Testaverde actually would have a quarterback ranking that would be 4th in the AFC if he had enough attempts to qualify. And Testaverde gets it off, but took a hit and goes short, intended for Metcalf. It'll be a 3rd down and 9 at the 32. No score with 3.5 remaining in this first quarter.
It's going to be an easy day for Woodson, Marv, when you put Leroy Horde, number 33, and split him out wide and have Rod Woodson covering one-on-one. Woodson with all that speed, Horde not a whole lot of speed. You think you would put a wide receiver out there.
Rod Woodson, who has made it to his 5th Pro Bowl, still one of the fastest players in the NFL. 3rd down and 9. Testaverde could not find anyone and throws it away. Leroy Horde in the area.
Kevin Green is limping. He's upset with himself. He has the shot at Testaverde and doesn't make it. He just takes off upfield. I mean, he makes an outstanding play. Here he comes, and that's Williams on number 62 on the outside blocking on. Look at, he goes right inside, and he has got a shot at Testaverde and doesn't make the play. Testaverde has to throw the ball away. But that's all Green.
And Green over to the sideline as Brian Hansen checks in. He'll punt for the 3rd time. Rod Woodson is back. Line drive punt taken by Woodson from the 20. Little room to operate, but was able to slither his way along the sideline. 48-yard punt and an 8-yard return as the Steelers will check out Kevin Green. Well, coming up next on most of these NBC stations, game 2 of our NFL doubleheader. Most of you will see the Denver Broncos take on the Los Angeles Raiders. Back on October the 18th, the Raiders won in Denver 23-20 on a 53-yard field goal by Jeff Jager with 16 seconds remaining. Pittsburgh Steelers and their fans hoping for a Steeler victory here against the Browns, and then a Raider loss. They need defeats by 2 of the 3 following teams, Raiders, Miami, and the Jets. Jets playing at Houston tonight. And how about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Paul? In terms of first quarter play, they have gotten off to just awful starts. Last week they're down 10-0. 11th time they've fallen behind in the first quarter. In 7 games, Bill Cowher was telling us the Steelers have been down 14-0 in the first quarter.
I did a game here when New England hadn't scored all year long. It had 3 field goals in the first quarter. Came in and had 14 points in the first quarter against Pittsburgh.
And a first down from the 31. O'Donnell in trouble. And throws it away. Throws to the sideline.
This is, Marv, I'm sorry, but this is so frustrating for defensive linemen. I mean, you're putting the heat on the quarterback, and that would have been intentional grounding any other time except this year. You're allowed to throw the ball as long as you throw it towards the line of scrimmage or beyond. And here's Neil O'Donnell. He's running back. He's going crazy, trying to get away from people. And then the defense, they're all on him. Mike Johnson, number 59, is the guy that has the first shot at him. Now watch, when he goes out, here all these guys are running after him, and he just throws the ball away. There's nobody there.
It's a second down and 10 at the 31-yard line, and Leroy Thompson was able to get to the outside. How about the Patriots jumping off to a 3-0 lead? Bill Parcells and New England trying to make it 4 straight wins.
I loved, you and I did a couple of games with Parcells. Every time we talk, Bill, you have a pretty good team. No, we don't. No, we don't. We have these guys are like young kids, or people are running around there hitting people.
Well, Bill Parcells always had the expression, and this even in his Super Bowl days with the Giants, where he would say, "We stink," no matter what, no matter what the situation. Well, we're told that Kevin Green has suffered a twisted left knee, and it is questionable as to whether he will return. Timeout has been called here by the Steelers. When we pick it up, it'll be a 3rd down and 3 at the 38. 2:21 remaining in this scoreless first quarter.
Marv, you're looking at 2 conservative football teams, and it's times when you look at teams like this, the thought that comes to my mind is that neither one of these teams are playing to win it. They just want to have somebody lose it for them, and they are so conservative. The Cleveland Browns, they've got to open it. Whether the pass is complete or not, they've got to throw the ball downfield a couple of times just to get that defense off the line of scrimmage. And until they do that, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to sit up there with between 8 and 10 people and play run defense against you.
It is a 3rd and 3 at the 38. And this is Merrill Hodge. Merrill Hodge with an excellent run inside the 35. Brought down by Del Spear, and penalty flags come flying. A 30-yard run by Hodge.
Well, first of all, the Browns were confused on defense. Randy Hilliard is the guy that goes inside. He doesn't know whether he's supposed to cover the motion man, which was Stone, or not. Now we'll see what the flag is all about first. Tremendous run by Hodge.
And Merrill Hodge, a guy who's accepted the quiet role of being the main backfield blocker for Barry Foster, now Leroy Thompson.
Personal foul. Offense number 73. Continuing action foul. 15-yard penalty. It will still be first down.
All right, when you take a look at number 39 is Randy Hilliard. You got Stone in motion. See Hilliard, now they're moving in and out. They really are confused, and they make a toss to the outside. Hilliard gets caught inside. They kick out the defensive back, Mustafa, and they're off and running.
And the penalty was called on Justin Strelzik.
On the right of your screen, look at Strelzik head first in there, and that there's no cause for that. There's absolutely no cause. You know.
He did it right in front of the official. Now Thompson to the other side. Leroy Thompson stopped by Pepper Johnson. Leroy Thompson in the past noted more for his receiving than his running, in particular with Barry Foster healthy and in the lineup. Picked up 5. It's a 2nd down and 5 with 1.5 minutes to go in this first quarter.
Not a lot of noise here, you know. They're yawning a little bit.
At one point there was early. Rod Woodson had the crowd pumped up. It is a sellout, better than 59,000 on hand. Off the draw, it is Thompson, and we'll have to wait and see where they spot it. Michael Dean Perry tripped him up.
Cersei gets a block on Michael Dean Perry, number 92. And Cersei be 72. Here it is right here, number 92. And they block. There's double teaming on Perry. Now watch, Cersei turns Perry and puts him on his back. Excellent block. Excellent block.
It's an advance of 3, just short of the first down. 3rd and less than a yard at the Cleveland 38. 40 seconds remaining. First quarter. That's Stone in motion again to the ground, and Thompson has a first down. Leroy Thompson picks it up. Jerry Ball made the stop. Jerry Ball not seeing as much action as he did in the past. Cleveland Browns coaches upset about the added weight. That has been a problem over the years with Jerry Ball. Ball said recently that the
added
Browns,
weight?
Yes, the Browns have tried to devalue him, he said, by taking him out of the game in key situations. He's upset that he's not playing as much as he did in the past, and Ball can become a free agent after the season.
They take him out of a game and then roll him over to the sideline.
That's nice, Paul. That's very kind. We'll be back in a moment. A reminder tonight, all new episodes of Eyewitness Video and Sequest, and then the 2-hour movie premiere of NBC's Viper. Viper premiering tonight following the new episodes of Eyewitness Video and Sequest right here on NBC as we head to the second quarter.
Not much going on. Look at you just look at the first down deals, but Pittsburgh obviously the yardage 26 yards total for the Browns. And the thing I was talking about, getting the ball downfield at 3 yards passing, you've got to get the ball downfield.
The cutback by Leroy Thompson, and then he's dropped at the line. Stephon Moore, from his strong safety position, made the stop.
This is the difference between Barry Foster and Leroy Thompson. Foster will go right to the hole and take what's there. Thompson will move and dance and then make another move back somewhere else. That time he ran all over the place and picked up a half a yard.
This a Pittsburgh Steelers team that appeared to be on its way in mid-November after overwhelming Buffalo. Remember that 23-0 game Monday night? They were 6 up, 3 down, but since then they have lost 4 of the last 6. O'Donnell with a short pass, able to connect with White Stone. Pepper Johnson made the stop. Steelers have lost their last 2 to Houston and Seattle. Last week was a bad loss in Seattle, 16-6. What was most alarming to the Steelers last week, despite the absence of rushing leader Chris Warren, Seattle ran for 267 yards, led by John Vaughn. And they did it against the NFL's top-ranked run defense going in. After that game, they dropped to 3rd in the NFL against the run.
So far, they seem to have solved that problem.
3rd down and 4. And O'Donnell completes for the first down to Eric Green. The stop by Stephon Moore. And it's good for 7 and a first down.
When I said O'Donnell will force it sometimes, watch this. Stephon Moore is down there, and also the safety is going to be right there with him. Number 29, Eric Turner. And that ball was put in between 2 defenders. And that's what O'Donnell says. There are times when I'll find Green and I know he's double covered. I'm going to stick the ball in there anyway.
First catch of the day by Green. Back to the ground for Thompson. Try to get outside and made the cut. Stopped inside the 20-yard line by Pepper Johnson.
Well, the one thing that they do know, if they get in this area down here and they can't convert it into a touchdown, they've got I think the best field goal kicker in all of football is right here. And the reason I say that is because here he is. He's going to the Pro Bowl, Gary Anderson. He's only missed 2 field goals, I guess, this year. No extra points. And remember, this guy plays outdoors, not indoors.
25 of 27. That is 93%. Overall, 33 of his last 37, including 18 straight here at Three Rivers. Very impressive numbers. 2nd down and 7. 11th play of the drive. O'Donnell off the pump, changed his mind, being chased, throws it away. So Neil O'Donnell just flips it out of the end zone.
Neil O'Donnell has had some success as far as staying in the pocket because the offensive line is, I think, have been blocking pretty well. That time, I think he came out of the pocket a little bit too soon. But the other thing is, when you look downfield and you see that your people are covered, you've got to make a move to do things. And that's what O'Donnell just did there. He could have stayed in the pocket, hoping somebody gets open. But by him moving to the outside, enables people now to run free. And obviously they didn't.
Yes. Looking at a 3rd down and 7 at the 19 from the shotgun. Quick release in a crowd, deflected and broken up. Nearly picked off by the Browns.
Thigpen has a shot at a double coverage, and then Eric Green almost makes the reception downfield. Here it is, throwing into double coverage again. Green is just going into the middle, picking off people. Here's a double coverage on Thigpen here. The hit is made by Eric Turner, and there's Green going for the ball. He almost makes the play. Here's Green. Stephon Moore is also there. He gets a shot at it.
And it will lead to a 36-yard attempt by Anderson. And once again, Gary Anderson connects. 3-0 Steelers. Anderson 26 for 28. Gary Anderson just a moment ago connecting from 36 yards away. So Pittsburgh had the ball for 6 minutes and 13 seconds, 13 plays, 62 yards, and then Anderson able to put it right through for a 3-0 Pittsburgh lead. Gary Anderson in his 12th year out of Syracuse will kick it off.
This is something else he's been doing very well this year. Bill Cowher, the coach, said he's been kicking off extremely well.
And that is a deep kick handled by Leroy Horde. Horde accelerates across the 25-yard line. And the Cleveland Browns back to the offense. They'll start out from the 29-yard line. 3:13 gone by in this second quarter. The Browns have not won here at Three Rivers Stadium since back in 1989. Pittsburgh has won 19 of 23 against Cleveland here in Pittsburgh. This is the 88th meeting in one of the NFL's longest running rivalries. Art Modell last week was snowed in, missed his first game in 33 years. Art is very superstitious. He had threatened this week to show up, but just watch the game on the monitor since he missed it last week, and the Browns were able to pull out the victory. But then, Paulie, heard you were doing the telecast, and nice catch is made. It is Mark Carrier on the reception for 55 yards.
Remember I said you have to do something to get the ball downfield, whether you complete it or not. The Carrier, this ball is thrown short. Rod Woodson is on. One-on-one coverage downfield. Now watch where the ball is thrown. Testaverde throws the ball short. Carrier makes the adjustment. Now watch his balance. This was, to me, is outstanding. He pushes Rod Woodson down. Watch this. He goes about 9 yards. Whoa. And then maintains his balance and picks up an additional 10 yards.
Mark Carrier has been a favorite receiver of Vinny Testaverde. That goes back to their days at Tampa Bay. He's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all-time leading receiver, signed with the Browns as a free agent. Caught 56 passes last year with Tampa Bay. Timeout has been called. 11:04 remaining. Second quarter. The Pittsburgh Steelers with a 3-0 lead on the Cleveland Browns by virtue of a 36-yard field goal by Gary Anderson moments ago. But the Browns on the move off that Testaverde to Carrier. Long pass play. It's a first down at the Pittsburgh 16-yard line. Tight end 88 Kinchin in motion. This is Ford. And he's gang tackled for a loss.
You know, Kinchin is trying to block Green on the outside and doesn't do the job. Kevin Green is back into the ball game, even though he did twist his knee. And that man there is Mr. Crosby, Steve Crosby. And they're talking, he's a running back coach, but they're talking about he may be the offensive coordinator next year.
He's been in the role of a quasi-offensive coordinator since the Browns game against Seattle back in mid-November, and the Browns have been running the ball better since then. One-time running back with the Giants in the mid-70s. Steve Crosby has been making the calls. Looked like Rod Woodson limped off. Second down and 13 at the 19-yard line. Metcalf peeling off. And Testaverde throwing. It was behind Carrier. It'll be a third down and 13. Dallas with a 3-0 lead over the Giants. They're playing for home field advantage right throughout. Green Bay over Detroit. It is still the Patriots 3-0 over Miami. Score that the Steelers like. Buffalo looking for home field advantage involved in a 3-3 tie at the Hoosier Dome. Kansas City in front of Seattle in the second quarter. Third down, 13 at the Pittsburgh 19. And Testaverde with a bullet intended for Carrier.
Too low. Last pass he threw the Carrier was behind him. This one was down to his feet. Now they're going to bring the field goal kicker in. You know what's going to be interesting? If Buffalo loses to Indianapolis, Kansas City wins and Houston wins, that puts Buffalo playing in the wild card. Buffalo is either playing for complete home field advantage, or if those things reverse and go that way, they can end up being the play next week in the wild card.
As they were involved last year and came from behind to beat Houston in that wild comeback. Here's Stover with a 37-yard field goal attempt. Matt Stover with the angle to the left. And he has tied the game at 3 with 10:06 left in the first half.
The Denver Broncos, the LA Raiders. Another piece of the playoff puzzle comes together when arch rivals clash. Next on NBC.
That's coming up next. Most of these NBC stations. Game 2 of our NFL doubleheader, Denver and the LA Raiders. Broncos haven't won at the Los Angeles Coliseum since back in 1987. Most of you will see Denver take on the Los Angeles Raiders. Here in Pittsburgh, the Browns and the Steelers are now tied at 3. A report on Rod Woodson, who limped off just moments ago. He suffered a strained right hamstring, and his return is said to be questionable.
I mean, I don't know, but this year I've never seen so many hamstring injuries as this year. I mean, everybody, teams have got 3 and 4 guys down with hamstrings.
Whitestone and the rookie Andre Hastings are back. Took a hop. Stone will stay right there. Lively hop, and they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line.
Stone's a little upset. Stacey Hurston ran by him and took a little swipe at him, never hit him. And Stone, stop that.
Is that what he said?
Stop that. I don't even know if I never could run fast enough to pull a hamstring.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
You know who made that point?
Who?
Neil O'Donnell yesterday. He said he'd seen tape. We corrected him. It was kinescope on some of your early days as a Swift linebacker.
Yes,
and punter.
I was Swift.
For the Chargers and the Bills.
That's what they called me, Old Swifty.
We'll remind people of your background.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
First down from the 20, number 20, Stone in motion. O'Donnell tucked it away, hiding the ball on the play action, and then hits Hodge. Harold Hodge stretching across the 25. He was tripped up by the left corner, Randy Hilliard. Picked up 7. It'll be a second down and 3 at the 27.
You know, this is really a nice play by Hodge, though. What he does is he blocks Pio Sangapulatelli, who is number 75, coming in. They run a bootleg, and he just releases, and they pick up about 7.5 yards on the play. There's really no one out there to cover him because he's blocking on the lineman.
Now Stone is to the left, Graham to the right. Hodge in motion. Thompson gets the call, and he's hit for a loss. Ball was knocked free. Browns thought they could get to it.
Mike Johnson, what a play he just made. I mean, from the middle linebacker slot, he just comes across and makes the tackle on Thompson, strips the ball. 59 will come into your picture, and that's Johnson, Mike Johnson. Watch this. He comes in, makes the hit, knocks the ball loose. That's just a great play. Down the line of scrimmage, that's a loss of about 6.5 yards.
And Stone was able to cover up. Mike Johnson leads the Browns once again in total tackles in his 8th year out of Virginia Tech. 3rd down and 9. O'Donnell pursued and throws the screen, and it is rolled incomplete. Hodge could not hold on. It was covered by Turner.
But they had a blitz on, and O'Donnell was really lucky to get the ball away to Hodge. Nobody picked up the blitzing. Was a safety or a corner. Was actually number 27. Stevan Moore came in as a strong safety and blitzed right up the middle. Nobody picked him up. O'Donnell was, I'm really lucky to get the ball off.
And Neil O'Donnell and the offensive unit hearing the boos from the crowd here at Three Rivers. So 4th down and 9, and Mark Royals will come on to punt.
Please set the game clock to read 8 minutes and 17 seconds.
Little readjustment.
Always amazed how they find 10 seconds, 5 seconds somewhere. Where is it?
Well, someone saw the clock running down, although play had stopped. So Royals back from his 6-yard line. And it's a short punt handled by Carrier. And makes the return inside the 40-yard line. A 33-yard punt by Royals.
It was a terrible punt.
8:09 remaining. First half. Game tied at 3. Rod Woodson back on the field. Left during that last defensive series because of a strained right hamstring. Let's see if they try to go in his direction as the Browns take over at the Pittsburgh 39. The game is tied at 3. Testaverde could not find anyone, and now goes short range and completes for the first down to Tommy Vardell, who was hauled down by the inside linebacker, the rookie Chad Brown.
Testaverde was looking to that side. They were going up top again, and Testaverde looking to his right, was going to throw there, and then sees the coverage, so he moves out to his left. Vardell, Chad Brown, that's outstanding coverage. It's just a terrific catch. Vardell keeping your eyes on the ball. Soft hands. Michael Jackson in the game.
They call it a 2nd and 1.
Wait a minute. They got a first down over here,
On one
2nd
side,
over there.
Right. On the near side, it is indicated as a first down, which is the way we called it.
I mean, they're having a problem. I don't think it was the first down, and they moved the sticks.
Now,
It is a first down.
now here is the official indication. It is a first down at the 29. Michael Jackson checking back in. Michael a question mark because of a knee problem. We've seen quite a bit of Keenan McCardle, although Vinny Testaverde has not looked in his direction. Michael Jackson leading the Browns with 40 receptions, and he is split to the left with McCardle at the top of your screen. Browns and Steelers tied at 3, 7:15 remaining first half, and Testaverde off the mark, intended for Jackson. We're set for another update. Let's go to Jim Lampley.
Marv, the cry in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, the Bencoats are coming. The Bencoats are coming. 1 if by land, 2 if by sea, 7 if it's an 11-yard TD pass from Drew Bledsoe to Bencoats that makes it 10-0 New England. Miami's playoff hopes flickering. The Dolphins need to win. Back to Marv and Paul.
All right, Jim. Yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers certainly enjoying that score. Miami, one of the 3 teams that must lose 2 of the 3 between Miami Jets and Raiders must lose along with a Pittsburgh victory to get into the playoffs. Intended for Carrier. But first, the Steelers have to take care of business here. They need a victory over the Browns.
That's what I was going to say to you. I mean, you better worry about what they're doing here first, and don't worry about what Miami. You can't control what Miami is going to do, or the Jets or the Raiders are going to do. You can control what the Browns are doing, and that's what you got to worry about here. You got to win, and that man may lose a mustache. And that's a frightful thought. Even he said that. He says,
I will get back to that in just a moment. It's a 3rd down and 10, and the Browns 0 for 4 in 3rd down situations here in the first half. Intended for Jackson, broken up by D.J. Johnson. As Bill Cowher telling us yesterday that in an attempt to motivate his team and make the point that a victory is so important here today, he feels that if they are able to win, they'll get into the playoffs. What he's telling his team is, don't worry, we'll get 2 out of 3 losses from the Dolphins and the Jets and the Raiders. Don't worry about it. So he said, if we win and don't make it to the playoffs, he said he'll shave his mustache. This is a 47-yard attempt by Matt Stover for the lead. And he puts it through. So Stover, who earlier hit from 36, now connects from 47, and Cleveland has a 6-3 lead.
and the way things are looking right now, that Bill Cowher's mustache is safe because they got to win in order for them to get into the playoffs. Loss does not do a thing for him. And did you see that deal with him without? Can you imagine? He said that's a frightening thing, me without a mustache, and here he is with his mustache. There should like be a number underneath him there.
Yes, this is an artist rendition handled by our staff and their technical wizardry. He was afraid he might scare his wife because apparently he did not inform her of this possibility. But right now, as you mentioned, the Steelers are down 6-3, and that is the first consideration to beat the Cleveland Browns. The Browns, on the other hand, are trying to even the record at 8 up and 8 down. Matt Stover, 47-yard field goal. So he's 2 for 2 today, and for the season, 15 of 21.
You know, we talked to Michael Dean Perry yesterday about how important this game is. You know, it's the last game of the season. You're not going anywhere. He said, this is a pride thing. We want to finish the season at 500, and we want to win this football game, and we're going all out. This is not one of those deals where you just show up.
Michael Dean Perry spending lots of quality time with us yesterday in his visit. And he'll run it out. Andre Hastings decided to run it out of the end zone and brought to the 10-yard line. Stopped by the backup linebacker, Mike Caldwell.
Interesting yesterday, Michael Dean Perry. I see this guy, and I said, do you play golf? He said, no. I don't play golf. Don't like golf. Can't play a lick. He said, I don't play. But I'll tell you one thing I can do. I can play ping pong.
And apparently he is a very skilled ping pong player.
I'll let you know when I get done playing. We're going to play in the offseason. We're going to tour the country. Michael Dean and I playing ping pong with massive crowds.
As is customary, as part of our preparation, we usually talk to the coaches and a number of players the day before a game, but Michael Dean would not leave.
He settled in.
It is almost picked off. Clay Matthews had a shot at it. The pass intended for Eric Green.
Here we go again. We're forcing it, and Neil O'Donnell told us yesterday, if it comes down to it, I'll force it. Take a look. You got Mike Johnson inside, Clay Matthews on the outside, and the ball hits Clay Matthews. Now Green falls down, or is pushed down by Johnson here. Here goes Green. He's tripped up. He goes down. But look where this ball. It hits Clay Matthews right in the stomach. That's called forcing it.
Well, Clay is the first to admit that the hands are not the strongest part of his game. He should have had that one. And this one is bobbled and dropped by Graham. Another drop by the Steelers. Stephon Moore on the coverage. Jeff Graham would have had to have come up with a very, very tough catch, but certainly should have had it.
He turns perfectly. Mustafa is there, and then Moore knocks it away. But Graham, the ball is thrown behind. Watch the turn he makes. He makes a nice turn at the ball. Mustafa gets his hands in there, and then Graham almost gets it, and then there's Stewan Moore who knocks him away. That's an outstanding defense and a great try on offense.
It's a 3rd down and 10 from the 12. The Browns 6, the Steelers 3 with 6.5 remaining. First half. And that is underthrown, intended for Hodge. Right here, we'll step out for another update. Let's go back to New York for Jim Lampley.
Marvelous. Let's go to Kansas City. Rick Tootin of the Seahawks trying to boot it out of his end zone. Albert Lewis of the Chiefs blocks the kick and holds on for the touchdown. The 11th blocked kick of Lewis's career. And we go from Albert Lewis to Marv Albert in Pittsburgh.
You know, Paul, I think Jim's spending too much time in the studio these days.
Burning too much of that confetti.
And the punt by Royals is angled out. 6:22 remaining in the first half, and the Browns will return to the offense. They have a 6-3 lead, a 38-yard punt by Mark Royals.
Marv, let me tell you something. Here's a right-footed kicker, and you don't kick the ball out of bounds to the right-hand side. If he's going to kick the ball out of bounds, Royals, you kick it to the left-hand side. Reason being, if you shank the ball, at least it'll go down the middle of the field. Here he shanks the ball. The Cleveland Browns get the ball in Pittsburgh territory at the 48-yard line. It's a bad kick, and too many things can go wrong. If you're going to kick that ball again out of bounds as a right-footed kicker, you kick it to the left sideline.
The Browns start out at the Pittsburgh 48. Play action, and Testaverde able to connect with Bardell for a first down. He was covered by Kevin Green.
And I like what Cleveland's doing now. Now, Testaverde in the last series down through a couple of bad passes, no question about it. But at least now they're going downfield. Play action pass to Horde. He fakes the Horde and then throws out to Bardell on the outside. Look at here, there's Green coming out. Bardell makes the catch, picks up 9 yards on the play. But at least now they're going down the field a lot more. Now this is Crosby's play calling from upstairs. He is right now the running back coach.
Well, they spot it short of a first down. It's a 2nd and 1 at the 39. 83 Carrier in motion. Leroy Horde fumbled it. And it's covered up by Bob Dahl, the right guard, number 72, Bob Dahl, in his 2nd year out of Notre Dame. Man, who was a defensive lineman until last season.
Turned offense there. Lloyd, number 95. He gets inside of Bardell. He's the guy that stops everything. And then they come back inside. Number 99, Kirkland, knocks the ball loose. But Dahl is there to get it back. Look at that. Look at Kirkland. That's mine. Went from 2nd and 1 to 3rd and 3.
From the Pittsburgh 41, it is a 3rd down and 3 with 5 minutes left in the half. Testaverde with the time. Couldn't find anyone. Now does. Leroy Horde has a first down and more. Levon Kirkland made the stop. That's good for 21.
Green, number 91, Kevin Green, comes up over top. On the left of the screen, watch it go up in the air. That's Metcalf making that block. And then Metcalf gets back up and goes downfield. But here it is, Horde. Testaverde just sees him out of the corner of his eye, throws the ball. Horde picks up the first down. They're at the 21-yard line. There's a timeout by Cleveland.
Benny Testaverde is 6 of 14. Is coming off the 21 of 23 for a completion percentage of 91%. Last week that broke the record of Ken Anderson, who had converted on 20 of 22 for Cincinnati back in 74. Testaverde completed his final 13 passes last week. Yes, against probably the worst secondary in the NFL in the Rams, but had a flawless performance. Paul, his 2 incompletions were both throwaways. He ended up 21 of 23. and was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
When he went 13 straight, he said that last one on his 13th one, he was running, and what happened is the guy that was holding the chain started moving downfield. He said, I thought I had another, had to pick up the first down, so I just went out of bounds with it instead of throwing it away.
And the handoff to Randy Baldwin. That's his first carry of the day in his third year out of Mississippi. Randy Baldwin has come back from knee problems earlier in the season. It'll be a 2nd down and 9, a pickup of 1. 2nd and 9, just outside the 20.
And if the Cleveland Browns get a touchdown here and go up by 10 points, Marv, I don't know that Pittsburgh's got enough offense to overcome it in the second half.
Well, their offense has certainly been invisible. To this point, they show a field goal, 36-yarder by Gary Anderson earlier the second quarter. Browns have come back with 2 field goals. Vardell with a short advance. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the first half. It'll be a 3rd down and 7 down at the 18-yard line.
Joel Steed on that play 93, and also Chad Brown, number 94, making the tackle.
Head coach Bill Belichick in his 3rd year as head man.
The Browns, when you look at the offense, so sometimes you just wonder, because they're throwing the ball, they're going outside with the ball, and all of a sudden you get down inside the 20-yard line and you get conservative.
3rd and 7. Look out, Testaverde is hauled down. And that is the biggest play for the defense of the Steelers in this first half. Kenny Davidson led the assault from his left defensive end position. There is number 64.
And this is a coverage sack. When you see Kenny Davidson, number 64, they have the blitz on. Even Rod Woodson is coming in, number 26. Davidson makes the play. But when you look downfield, Marv, there was absolutely no one open.
Another field goal attempt for Matt Stover. This from 44 yards away. Moments ago, he hit from 47. And this one is good. It's been the Matt Stover show. 3 of 3. He's hit from 36, from 47, and now from 44 yards out for a 9-3 Cleveland lead.
This is a game of field goals, and again, the better field goal kicker is on the Pittsburgh side, going to the Pro Bowl, Gary Anderson. But this really is a break for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I believe if Cleveland would have gone up by 10 points, it would have been very difficult for Pittsburgh to come back and overcome a 10-point deficit.
But the big play, the sack by the Steelers' Kenny Davidson, and that stopped the drive, leading to the Browns settling for the field goal. Davidson last week started for the injured Gerald Williams. Williams bothered by a pulled hamstring. Kenny Davidson in his 4th year out of LSU.
They've got to get something going, Pittsburgh, offensively, and they've got to be looking at other people other than just Eric Green. So that ball has to go. You've got to get the ball outside. They've got to get the ball to Stone. They've got to get the ball to Graham. I think they've only thrown one pass to Graham, and that was behind him. He almost made a spectacular catch. But you've got to open up their defense now.
2:48 remaining in the first half. And this time a short kickoff by Stover. Andre Hastings on the return. Hastings, 3rd-round draft pick, rookie from Georgia, stopped by Frank Stams. And the Steeler offensive unit is back on the field. Neil O'Donnell, as you see, 5 of 14 for 55 yards. Has not been able to get anything going. Had that key drop by Eric Green early. He's had a couple of drops. Play action. O'Donnell throwing sideline for Hodge. Merrill Hodge has been the most dependable receiver. He's been doing it out of the backfield. He was covered by Randy Hilliard.
But you take a look at O'Donnell. He's looking downfield. You've got two wide receivers, Graham and Stone, running downfield. They're not open because they're running underneath the zone defense. Neither one of those guys were open. Green wasn't open outside, so he dumps it off to Hodge and picks up 5. If that's what they're going to give you, go ahead and take it.
Second down play with 2:20 to go in the first half. Now Thompson once again to the outside, and he's able to slice his way for a first down. Took the shot from the left corner. Randy Hilliard. Cleveland Browns began the season with Everson Walls as the starter at left corner. He was dropped. Went to Terry Taylor, who is injured, out with a neck problem, and now Randy Hilliard, who had been a backup, is the starter at the left quarterback position.
Going to try and get a playoff here before 2 minutes. I don't think they're going to be able to do it, though. No.
Winding down to the 2-minute warning. There it is. It'll be a 1st and 10 from the 32 when we come back.
That's one.
10-7. Coming up at halftime, NFL Live halftime report. Jim Lampley, Mike Ditka, Will McDonough will bring you all the scores and highlights from around the league on the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report, plus a preview of the Denver LA Raiders game. Raiders and the Broncos coming up next on most of these NBC stations. Game 2 of our NFL doubleheader. 2 minutes to go in this first half. It'll be a 1st and 10 at the 32 for the Steelers. As we resume, the Pittsburgh Steelers have dropped their last 2, losing to Houston and Seattle. They've lost 4 of the last 6, yet still alive in the hunt for a wild card berth.
One timeout left for Pittsburgh, and again, what's happening is Cleveland's, they're playing the zone defense, and it's kind of a soft prevent, and the middle is open.
Screen pass for Hodge. Follows a blocker and gets to the 40-yard line. Again, it's Merrill Hodge, the receiver, out of the backfield.
Well, I like the play that you're throwing, but you got to get it to someone with a lot more speed. I mean, this team has got to get at least in field goal range. They're at the 40. They have 61 yards to go.
They're in the hurry up now. 2nd down and 2, and O'Donnell completes the Green, and that is a first down. Looked like he coughed it up and out of bounds. He was trying to get out of bounds to stop the clock as he took the hit from the combination of Turner and Moore.
Look where they throw this ball again. Now look at the coverage. Here's Turner there. Moore is out there with him. And here's the pass to the outside. The hit is made by number 22, Selwyn Jones. And that ball is fumbled out of bounds. Now he won't get the forward progress on the ball. He'll get the ball where he was.
O'Donnell could not find anyone, and he's taken down. Anthony Pleasant will get credit for the sack. That's 9.5 for the season for Pleasant in his 4th year out of Tennessee State.
There's plenty of time on the clock. 1:23 and counting. Only what you want to do is pick up about 10 of this.
2nd down and 18 now, sideline pattern. A spin move by Yancey Thigpen. He's short of the first down. Randy Hilliard on the coverage.
They picked up 10 yards. That's what you do. Now you have 3rd down situation, and now you're looking at a 3rd and about 8 or 9. But take a look at the secondary. Look at the middle of the field. If you can get it over the linebackers right here, you've got a chance. Now there's Green going down the middle. They elect to throw the ball to the outside to stop the clock. But here's the situation now. If you're going to throw the football, get it into the middle of the field. You still have a timeout left.
Again, O'Donnell from the shotgun, looking deeper. Intended for Graham. Got his hand on it, covered by Hilliard.
If he had more time, sorry, Marv, but if he had a little bit more time, the middle of the field, Thigpen was coming uncovered into the middle of the field, and it had been fine, but he hadn't enough time to throw the ball. Now they're going to kick the ball away again. Royals, again, kick the ball to the left-hand side. You got delay a game.
Crowd reacting with the punt unit checking in. 5th punt of the day coming up for Royals, but a penalty marker was thrown.
Cowher wants a 15-yard penalty for whatever reason. He's yelling, that's 15 yards. No way. See if that I can read his lips with his mustache on. If he takes his mustache off, I won't be able to read it.
Timeout was taken by Cleveland prior to the flag being thrown. That is second timeout for Cleveland. A 40-second timeout.
Cowher saying now that's a nice guy. Now that's not true. That one there, Red, I won't use that one.
Yes, he added to his vocabulary.
Yeah, and he's really upset because the flag did go up in the air and then the timeout was called, and that's what he's upset about. There was a flag on the play and he wants a 15-yard penalty. See, what happened is the Pittsburgh Steelers were all lined up ready to kick. Now watch what 51 does for Cleveland. And that's Dixon, Gerald Dixon. He kicks the ball away. That's a 15-yard penalty. Delay. And here's the flag. But now where was the timeout? Now you take a look at the official up in the right-hand corner. Is he going to call timeout now? That flag was thrown before a timeout was called. And that's what Cowher's upset about. You know he's upset when you take your headset off. You get upset. They're going to charge a timeout. That doesn't do him any good. That's unsportsmanlike conduct, kicking the ball away in a situation like that. And that's where he wants a 15 yards and a first down. Because that's, you know, the flag did go up in the air as soon as he kicked the ball. And then the timeout was made. That's his point. And he's got a valid point. He's not going to win.
Well, the officials saying that the timeout was called before the ball was knocked away, nullifying the flag. And when we resume, Pittsburgh will punt. He's indicating the ball being knocked
He's going
away.
through the whole thing. And you know, Bill, it's not going to do you any good, Bill. They made a decision. They said the timeout was called before the kick. You talk about pleading your case. Fisher's looking at his watch saying, when you're done, we'll get started.
He's just counting down the timeout, but normally the official will walk away and not allow the coach to have that much of a say. But Dick Hancock being very compassionate here. He's hearing out Bill Cowher, and eventually they will resume. 1:07 remaining in this first half.
Cowher's upset because you're going to see Dixon does kick the ball because his team wasn't ready. Now watch number 51. He looks over there. The team is not ready, so he just kicks the ball. He's not going to allow him to center the ball. Now, if you take a look at it, number 56 Caldwell next to him calls timeout after the ball was kicked.
But as it turns out, does not matter, and Royals does get it away. Will be down inside the 5. So the Browns will take over from deep in their territory with 49 seconds remaining in the half, and Royals will receive credit for a 47-yard punt.
All right, you got to look at 56 and 51, Dixon and Caldwell. 51 knows kick the ball, but look at right to his right, the left of the screen. Now watch, the ball is kicked. Now he calls timeout. This is what Cowher's talking about. You can't kick the ball. There's the penalty, and then call a timeout.
Paul, as it turns out, aside from the principle of it, doesn't matter because, you know, Bill Cowher is very happy about where this punt.
But the problem is he would have had the ball. They would have still had the ball, a first down with 56 seconds to go, and still one timeout.
They start out from the 2. It's Testaverde on the keeper, and now Pittsburgh takes a timeout. Pickup of 1. It'll be a second down and 9 from the 3.
That's their final timeout, and they'll just take a knee here, and then that'll be the end of the first half. Browns going up 9-3.
It has been a field goal festival, which is something we have seen from time to time in the NFL this season. Gary Anderson hit from 36 to cap off a a 13-play drive. Pittsburgh had a 3-0 lead, but then 3 consecutive field goals by Matt Stover of the Browns from 36, then from 47, and then from 44 to extend to a 9-3 lead.
And Marv, I know the people out there are wondering, but the last 8 minutes of this second quarter took 30 minutes to play. With the flags and all the other things that were happening. So that means that Steve Everett, the center, has been out here on the field since 11:30, so he's been out for almost 3 hours already.
Those of you scoring at home.
Yeah.
Once again, Testaverde putting it down. Steve kind of enjoyed that play.
Yeah, he liked that. Oh, said I don't have to block anybody. Let me go ahead and sit down.
And time runs out, and the Steelers are hearing it from the crowd as they head back to the locker room as this first half comes to an end. The Cleveland Browns with a 9-3 lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and you know the fans here are unhappy with a playoff berth on the line. This is not what they expected from the Steelers.
Not at all, and they got to kind of move the ball downfield. I think they're going to open it. They have to open it up in the second half with Cleveland, just to loosen up the defense. Cleveland did it to loosen up Pittsburgh's defense. They ended up with 9 points doing that. Pittsburgh has to come back and do the same thing.
Right, Pittsburgh needs a victory combined with losses by 2 of the 3 following teams, the Dolphins and the Raiders and the Jets. Browns 9, Steelers 3. We'll be back after these words. Welcome back to Three River Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Browns with a 9-3 lead on the Steelers. Marv Albert along with Paul Maguire. Not much happening in the first half. Another field goal festival. Matt Stover with 2 from 40 plus has been excellent. Look at the quarterback stats. O'Donnell 9 of 19, 86 yards. Testaverde 6 of 14. 97 yards. Not much happening offensively.
What I'm really surprised at is Pittsburgh, because if they don't win the ball game, it's all over. I mean, you go home. It's your offseason starts. So they've got to open it up. They haven't done a thing on offense. You would think that you would try to get the ball downfield more. You're not going to beat anybody throwing a little junk stuff, the stuff to Hodge outside. I mean, you've got to go downfield. And
the Steelers certainly hearing it from the crowd. That is the offensive unit. They're hearing it. Here are the Coors Light halftime statistics.
Well, one thing that's really been nice for both teams, no turnovers, but you take a look at 100 yards, 109 yards total offense for Cleveland, 145 for Pittsburgh. It's almost like these two teams, Marv, are in slow motion.
And looking at the scoreboard, Miami and New England are tied at 10 in the third quarter. Bill Cowher has made the point that Pittsburgh obviously needing the victory over the Browns, but combined with losses by 2 of the 3 following teams, the Dolphins, the Raiders, and the Jets. But he's made the point that they must win here today, and he's trying to keep his players' minds on this game. There it is to qualify for the playoffs. The need for the win here against Cleveland. And then 2 of these teams must lose. The Jets playing at Houston tonight, and the Raiders and Denver will play later on. All right, Matt Stover getting set to kick it off with a combination of Dwight Stone and Andre Hastings. And a good kick by Stover.
And Marv, one other thing, for the end of the half, when the ball was kicked by Dixon and the penalty, they thought and they wanted the timeout was called. We got the official word that Randy Baldwin, number 23, had called timeout before the ball was kicked. And Cowher didn't buy it.
That apparently was out of camera range. We saw the timeouts being indicated by Mike Caldwell and by a couple of other Cleveland Browns, but apparently it was Randy Baldwin who called for the timeout. First down from the 20-yard line. And O'Donnell completes with Dwight Stone, covered by Randy Hilliard.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Now you're going downfield. Rod Woodson has got an ice pack on the back of his neck. We knew that he had a hamstring pull, but we didn't know anything happened to his neck.
It is a first down for the Steelers. First down from the 20-yard line. And they're now starting at the 31. Opening minute of play, third quarter. Thompson dancing his way. Stopped by the middle linebacker, Mike Johnson.
And if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers and Neil O'Donnell, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this left-hand side, the Randy Hilliard side, the left corner, because he has in their defense, he's dropping off. He's giving up about 10 yards. It's an exciting first half, isn't it? Oh, baby. Yeah, the one drive, 10-play drive, you get a field goal out of it.
And 5 punts by Royals. Second down, about 7. O'Donnell is taken down by Pepper Johnson. And for the Browns, that is their 4th sack of the day.
And if you look in the secondary, there was man coverage all the way. They had 4 guys deep and sent 7 people, and you just don't have enough people to block. That's Pepper Johnson, 53. You don't have enough people to block up front. The Cleveland Browns are bringing 7, covering with 4. And you take a look, Pepper Johnson, nobody blocks him. Merle Hodges looking around. He missed him.
Pepper Johnson last week against the Rams led the Browns with 12 tackles. Third down and 16. And once again, O'Donnell taken down. This time, Clay Matthews. He came from the other side.
Clay Matthews and Michael Dean Perry. They're shaking hands now. They converged on the quarterback. And this is just with a 4-man rush because Matthews is down. Look at these guys. Those are the linebackers talking about that. Matthews is down as a defensive end. And there's Perry alongside of him. Matthews gets through. He hits Neil O'Donnell along with Perry. That's a half each.
And again, it is Royals. His 6th punt of the day. So the ball goes back to the Browns with 1:45 gone by in the third. A look at downtown Pittsburgh. Snow still on the ground. 35 degrees. A crisp day here in the Pittsburgh area. Browns first down from the 40-yard line. Penalty flag is thrown. Horde finding a hole, bringing across the 45. The Browns 9 and the Steelers 3 with 2 minutes gone by in the third. Marv Albert with Paul Maguire from Three Rivers Stadium. And let's check out the flag.
Greg Lloyd offside again, number 95. And I think that what the Browns will do here is take the penalty because you got second and about 4 or 1st and 5.
Offside. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down. First down. Number 95 offside.
Yeah, 95. You're welcome. But you know, Lloyd is, you'll see him top of the screen. He's offside. Can't get back. You have the feeling when you're looking at this game, the way Pittsburgh's offense is, Marv, the defense, they're going to have to win this football game. They turn over and score.
It's a 1st and 5 at the 45. And Testaverde able to complete. Keenan McCardle on a short pickup. Rod Woodson made the stop for McCardle. That is his 1st catch. And it sets up a 2nd down and 2.
Basically, their last 3 possessions, they got field goals out of it. That was just 2 minutes. They just ran the clock out of the half, so I don't even want to count that. But at least they put some points on the board, even though they're just field goals. But they're up 9-3.
Now Carrier to the right, and McCardle to the left. 88, the tight end Kinchin in motion. Off the pitch. They are all over Horde. Donald Evans leading the way, and Davidson with some finger pointing at Everett.
Everett nailed Davidson on the play, but Greg Lloyd is the guy that makes the play. He takes on Tommy Vardell and forces the play to the outside. Watch this move. Now, he doesn't make the tackle, but he gets inside. Now he forces Horde to make a move. Here's all the blocking, and then Everett gets a shot in late. They went from 2nd and or 1st and 5 to 3rd and 4.
And it's 3rd and 4 from the 45-yard line. Testaverde over the middle for the first down. He has the tight end, Brian Kinchin. Steelers trying to knock the ball away. Kinchin would not allow it. The combination of Levon Kirkland and Darren Perry made the stop. It's a 15-yard advance.
First pass play to Kinchin all day, and he's a tight end. Just goes over and settles down right in the middle of the zone. Really nobody covering him. We've seen this year how valuable the tight ends are. We talk about Green here in Pittsburgh. Didn't make the Pro Bowl. Thinks he should have. Keith Jackson did make it in Miami. Didn't think he should have.
Kinchin, a guy who came here primarily as the long snapper, special teams guy, but he's been the starting tight end. That is broken up. Ford could not hold on. He took the hit from the strong safety Carnell Lake.
Carnell Lake was right there, and that ball was on target. Carnell Lake just makes the hit, and the ball pops out. Perfect timing. Left of the screen, there's Horde coming out. Look at it, ball's there, bang. And just as the ball's there, Lake gets his right arm underneath and pops the ball up in the air.
Second down and 10 at the Pittsburgh 39. The Browns 9, the Steelers 3. We're early third quarter. Nice fake, end around for Carrier. The fake to Vardell, who went into the line, and Martin Carrier handled it. Run out by Kevin Green and Rod Woodson, but it is short of a first down.
Carrier on the end around, a long way to run to pick up 5 yards. Here's the fake to Vardell, holds the people in the middle. Now the blocking is excellent. Look at Green on the outside. He really makes the play. He, along with Rod Woodson, make the outstanding play on the outside and hold it to a 5-yard gain.
It's a third down, 3rd and 4 at the 33. Testaverde to the outside, but Vardell is hit. Short of the first down. Kevin Green was right there.
What outstanding coverage by Kevin Green. Not only does Vardell make the catch, but watch where Green pushes him backwards. I mean, you're going to get the forward progress, but Kevin Green, 91, left of the screen, is going to make the play. The ball's there, Vardell catches it, and look at Green. He pushes him backwards. That's good play by the linebacker. Keeps him out of field goal range. This would be a 50-yard field goal had they tried it.
Instead, Brian Hansen comes on for the 4th time. Rod Woodson is back at his 10. Hansen looking to angle it. And the Browns cannot keep it out of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. 9:24 remaining in the third. .24 remaining, third quarter. Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. A wild card playoff berth on the line for the Steelers, who have not performed in the manner in that you would think they would with the playoffs on the line.
Bill Cowher is spending an awful lot of time with his defense. The defense has played extremely well. The offense, they have not done a thing.
Starting out at the 20-yard line. Graham to the near side, Stone to the far side. Play action fake. And it's the tight end, Adrian Cooper, on the reception. Randy Hilliard made the stop. Adrian Cooper, the backup tight end, with his first catch of the day.
Another load, this guy. Take a look at him. Burnett now, he's blocking on him. He's trying to get free, and once you block, you let the defensive end go. You're out into the flat. They pick up 9 yards on a play. He picks up 5 of it on his own. But, you know, there's no way the defensive end's going to stay with him.
Adrian Cooper, guy known for his blocking. That is only his 9th catch of the season. And now Thompson, who is not noted for straight ahead running a la Barry Foster, is stopped by Michael Dean Perry.
Michael Dean Perry going to the Pro Bowl, going right through Thompson. Thompson lost about a yard on the play. I'm shaking his head saying, someone ought to block that big guy.
It's a third and about 1. O'Donnell incomplete, intended for Green.
That wasn't even close. I mean, Green made a spectacular move on the ball to try and catch it, but he was open. Randy Hilliard was out there, but watch Green. Here he is. He really is open. He's sitting right down in the zone, right where you need to be. But look where the ball's thrown. I mean, he almost wiped out Hilliard by hitting him.
It is a 3-and-out series. And Mark Royals, who has been a busy guy right throughout, will punt for the 7th time today. Eric Metcalf, who has been quiet, is back. They've been able to keep it away from Metcalf. Now Metcalf will run it. And he's submarine down. Hit down by Merrill Hodge. 52-yard punt and a 2-yard return. Well, coming up next on most of these NBC stations, game 2 of our NFL doubleheader. Most of you will see the Denver Broncos take on the Los Angeles Raiders. Raiders make the playoffs if the Steelers lose here to Cleveland. The Steelers win, as you know. The Raiders must beat Denver to make the playoffs. Denver looking for the victory, and they would host the wild card. First down at the 23 for the Browns. Testaverde in trouble. Fumble. He was stripped, recovered by the Steelers.
Marv, I said in the last series of downs, the defense has to do something, turn the ball over, make the big play, and possibly score with it. Watch Lloyd, number 95. He gets blocked by Horde, but watch him stay with it. He's going to come back around and knock the ball out along with number 99, Kirkland. They both hit the ball here. Kirkland's going to come in. Lloyd's going to come in. Here's 99. Kirkland. Lloyd knocks the ball out. The ball's forward. Pittsburgh gets the ball. They're at the 27-yard line. The defense had to make things happen.
And it was the nose tackle, Joel Steed, who came up with the recovery. Steed, in his second year from Colorado. O'Donnell now goes to work. It is broken up. Stephon Moore knocking it away from the tight end, Eric Green.
Stephon Moore with just outstanding coverage. Dallas still ahead of the Giants. Green Bay ahead of Detroit. That's for the Central Division. That's interesting. Miami's tied it up 10-10 there. I think we had field goals here. They've got a bunch of them over there in Indianapolis.
It's a second down and 10. Browns have done a good job on Eric Green. He's dropped a couple too, but only 2 catches. Off the fake on the end around. Thompson taking off. Leroy Thompson out of the backfield. Dropped by Clay Matthews. It'll be a 3rd down and about 5 at the 21.
You're not going to win with trick stuff, I'm telling you now, because both Mike Johnson, number 59, and Clay Matthews, 57, both linebackers, look at the plays that they make here. Mike Johnson is there. You're going to see 59 come in and force the play. Clay Matthews down, gets back up, and makes the tackle. We've got looking at 3rd and 5.
7 minutes left, 3rd quarter. Steelers with the ball, trailing the Browns 9-3. O'Donnell from the shotgun, throwing end zone. Jeff Graham, the intended receiver, covered by Randy Hilliard.
They're booing again, but see, when you look at this play, you don't need the touchdown here. You only need 5 yards. If that's what they're giving you, then go ahead and take it. I mean, if you take a look at this play, you got one-on-one coverage on the outside, but the short stuff is open. The linebackers are up. There's nobody in the middle of the field.
And so Gary Anderson attempting a 38-yard field goal and puts it through. Anderson earlier hit from 36. And the Gary Anderson, Matt Stover show continues. Cleveland by 3. Well, Gary Anderson today moved into the number 7 position in terms of all-time number of field goals, now with 284 in pursuit of the likes of Mark Mosley, the one-time Washington Redskins, Jim Turner, Pat Leahy. Turner did it for both Denver and the New York Jets. Pat Leahy spent his entire career with the Jets.
He'll go into 4th next year.
Going out on the limb, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, no question. Gary Anderson Today has hit 2 of 2 from 36 and from 38, and his counterpart with the Browns, Matt Stover, 3 of 3, including from 47 and from 44. The Browns 9 and the Steelers 6. 6:53 remaining in the third quarter.
It's going to be very discouraging, though, for the offense. I mean, you're looking at, here's the defense. They take the ball away. You've got the ball inside the 30-yard line and come away with 3 instead of 7, which you need to win the ball game.
The kickoff by Anderson. This one goes shorter range. Leroy Horde out across the 25. And it's Anderson who had to make the play. Went down low to get a piece of Horde, who nearly broke it.
You know, I'm looking at this coverage, and it's really Holler, number 28 for Pittsburgh. He'll be on the right-hand side of this play, and you're going to see him. He gets taken inside. Right there, he gets blocked. Now, Gary Anderson is the guy that has to make the play. The outside guy has got to be as far outside as he possibly can to turn the play inside to the guys that are coming down. You can't get hooked inside.
39-yard kickoff return. Anderson slowed Horde up, and Perry forced him out of bounds. Excellent return. Steelers continue to have trouble on punt and kick coverage. First down at the 46.
With the blitz.
And it's Horde hit back. Crowd reacts to the tackle of Levon Kirkland, the inside linebacker in his second season out of Clemson.
Well, you know the guy that makes the play, if we can stop, is Carnell Lake, number 37. He comes in and forces the guard to block him. Once he does, you see Lake there, that frees up Kirkland. There's nobody to block Kirkland. You can't steal a move from Neil Smith.
Yes, that is out of the page.
You got to get your own stuff, man.
Out of the pages of Neil Smith.
Yeah, you can't borrow.
Of the Kansas City Chiefs. 2nd and 11, a loss of 1 from the 45. And a penalty marker is down. The play is blown dead.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5 yards. Still second down.
That's Gene Williams, number 62. The one thing to Pittsburgh, you know, when they sit up in there and they either fake blitz or come with the blitz, it really is confusing to Cleveland, because when they send a 7-man blitz and cover with 4, there's not enough people up front to block. That keeps Horde in the backfield. It'll keep Wolfley in the backfield. That's what they're basically going with, 2 wideouts and the big guys back there blocking.
2nd and 16. Horde has carried 4 times for -8 yards. Testaverde. And he had the receiver, McCardle, come back forward. He cut back. Nice adjustment in front of D.J. Johnson, but short of the first down.
All right, McCardle's out here on D.J. Johnson, number 44. Runs him off and he comes back to the ball. It's a smart receiver. You've got to come back to the ball and help out your quarterback. It was a 2nd down and about 12. They picked up 7 yards on the play.
From midfield, 3rd and 6. 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Testaverde airs it out. That was intended for McCardle. And the Steelers are looking for offensive interference, but no call made.
No, there was no call because McCardle's going for the ball. D.J. Johnson, he's going for the ball also. Watch McCardle. Really, and when Johnson turns around, McCardle's just going for the ball. He pushes him down. That's, the official is right there. I mean, Johnson has a case, because McCardle did grab him by the shoulder and put him down.
A little turn by you.
Yeah, I
here,
turn
folks.
around. Once you see it, you got to correct it.
After the replay, that's healthy. And the punt carries to the end zone.
Sounds like the old instant replay deal. After further review.
Yes, you gave us 4 possibilities, but honest enough to admit that you changed your mind.
Right. The only mistake is an uncorrected mistake.
Well, let me write that down.
All right, that's something new that we're going to be doing here.
And Bill Cowher demonstrating what he feels should have been a penalty call for offensive interference against McCardle.
He's calling a lot, you know, here it is right here. Now watch McCardle's left arm on Johnson 44. McCardle will reach up right here and push him down. Now that's offensive pass interference. You're allowed a flight to the ball, but you can't go push a guy down.
Pittsburgh taking over at the 20-yard line. O'Donnell incomplete. Intended for Graham, covered by Mike Johnson. And we're set for another update. Here's Jim Lampley.
Marv, the agony continues for the Dolphins in Foxborough after a Stoyanovich field goal had tied it at 10 apiece. Bledsoe, 11 yards to fellow rookie Vincent Brisby. Second TD pass of the game for the rookie quarterback for New England. And the Patriots lead Miami again, 17-10 in the third. Back to Marv and Paul in Three Rivers.
Thank you, Jim. Here it's Cleveland 9, Pittsburgh 6, 4:38 remaining in the third quarter. Errol Hodge stopped by Stephon Moore. Just a short pickup.
It was a terrible looking play.
Yes.
It really was a bad looking play. This was the longest draw in football history. He goes back to Hodge and hands the ball to Hodge. When you take a look at Hodges here. Watch this. They wait. Now Hodge takes a couple steps left. They go right. Gives the defense a chance to get there. A terrible looking play.
Picked up a yard. A 3rd and 9 at the 21. 88 Hastings in motion. Look out. O'Donnell took a hit as he completes for the first down. Eric Green made the catch.
Green has got great hands, and you know, and the ball floats back to Neil O'Donnell. I mean, it's a high snap. Look at this ball. It's floating back. And then he hits Green. He makes a tremendous catch. Stephon Moore is there to stop us in there on the blitz. And then Green just catches the ball and gets the first down. Look at Moore. He's right there with him. Tremendous hands. And I'm going to tell you, this guy goes 300 pounds.
It's a first down at the 30. Off the play fake. O'Donnell throws it away. Pass intended for Dwight Stone. We're told that Yancey Thigpen is out the rest of the way with a pulled hamstring. And so we're now seeing Andre Hastings on the field along with Dwight Stone. Jeff Graham as the Steelers do some shuffling. Well, Neil O'Donnell passing by Terry Bradshaw. In terms of completions and attempts, rather obscure record, but it's in the books.
Means you can't run the ball, you have to throw it.
O'Donnell going straight down the middle for Stone. Stopped by Hilliard, and Pittsburgh showing some signs. A 16-yard hookup.
Well, they're finally doing some of the things we talked about in the first half. Get down into the middle of the field because that's the part that's open. The blitz was on. And look at coming across here, Stone. He's got one-on-one coverage on Hilliard. And when that happens, there's just no way for Stephon Moore, 27, the safety, to get back there to help out. The middle is open. If you can read blitz, go down the middle with it.
Steelers first down from their 47. Back to the ground for Thompson. Picks his way for 3 yards. Pepper Johnson making the stop on Leroy Thompson. Pepper Johnson, Rob Burnett combining. Second down and 7 at the 50.
I think Neil O'Donnell is happy. You know, we talked to us yesterday. He didn't know what arm he'd have. He's got a good one today.
Throwing the ball much better than he did a week ago when it was sailing high and wide. Reverse for Stone. Got tripped up. Looked like Michael Dean Perry had the leg out and got a piece of him.
Michael Dean said, hey, man, that was a great tackle. That's why I'm all pro. And Michael Dean Perry, he's in the backfield. They run this reverse. Look who's all the way in the backfield. He's trying to make the tackle. He gets tripped up here. Now watch what he does. Now that is illegal. That's what Stone's complaining about. You cannot trip. Michael Dean said, hey, no harm, no foul. That's why I'm all pro.
It's a 3rd and 10 at the 47. O'Donnell is 14 of 29, 137 yards. Has a wide open Jeff Graham, but short of the first down. Stephon Moore on the stop.
Graham makes a nice catch. The ball is thrown down and away low. He had no chance to really make a turn upfield once he catches the football. And again, you've got 3rd and 10, and you throw a 5-yard pattern.
So with a 4th down and 4, here is Royals. Now this is a guy who's been around. Dallas, Philadelphia, St. Louis, Miami, Pittsburgh. Originally signed as a free agent with the Cowboys. They took a look at him in camp. Pops it up to Metcalf. And the fair catch handled by Eric Metcalf. 36 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. It's a 34-yard punt by Royals. 1st down from the 13 as we resume. So the Cleveland Browns back to the offense. Browns just playing out the schedule, hoping to even their record at 8 up and 8 down. This is a club that started out at 5 and 2. They've dropped 6 of their last 8. It's been a very rocky season. At the center of it, the Bernie Kosar controversy. Off the pitch. Ford fumbled it out of bounds.
I'll tell you, the linesman actually pulled out his flag and was going to throw it, number 64, and throw the flag on the Browns offense, number 66, Tony Jones. Watch Jones holding. 66 will come back into your picture, and this is why Horde gets to the outside. Jones, look at this. That's holding, and the official actually pulls out his flag and doesn't call it. That guy. Lloyd McPeter.
2nd and 9 at the 15. Testaverde with the play action, looking deep for McCardle. He's got him. DJ Johnson on the coverage, but Keenan McCardle goes for 45 yards on that reception.
Play action pass, and Vinny Testaverde finds the man as one-on-one coverage on the outside. DJ Johnson is on McCardle, and that's just an outstanding pass and catch. McCardle, this is what Vinny Testaverde sees. He sees the one-on-one coverage. McCardle pushes off. He gets free downfield. Outstanding catch.
And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. The score, the Browns 9, the Steelers 6.
Cast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the NFL is prohibited.
On to the 4th quarter. It's a 1st down for the Browns at the 42 off that 45-yard reception. Testaverde connecting with McCardle. Big hole for Horde. And Leroy Horde, very difficult to bring down. Levon Kirkland and Darren Perry finally got him to the ground.
You know, and again, we got to go back to that thing we talked about before. If the Browns put a touchdown up and go up by 10 points, I don't believe that Pittsburgh can come back.
Keenan McCardle last week caught 2 touchdown passes. 4 the previous 2 games. Signed on Plan B from the Redskins. Last year, a 12th round draft pick for the Washington Redskins. And has emerged, what with the injury suffered by Michael Jackson. Horde is hit hard.
Kenny Davidson. Boy, he came down the line of scrimmage. He just looked like he filled where the guard pulled. Look at the guard pulls. Here goes Davidson down the line. There's just no chance to get a block on him. Number 62, Williams, doesn't make the play, and Davidson does.
Well, Leroy Horde now has carried the ball 7 times, -2 yards.
He's getting closer to that plus, though.
It's a 3rd and 5. Horde peeling to the right. Bardell, the lone deep back. Testaverde throws deep. It is broken up. Intended for Carrier, covered by Woodson.
Rod Woodson got beat in the 1st quarter of the ball game because the ball was thrown behind him and thrown short. and they made, Carrier was the guy who made a play on the ball. But this ball is thrown in a perfect position. Woodson just gets his hand on the ball, his fingertips, and knocks the ball away. That's why he's all pro, folks. Here it comes. Look at his hand up in the air, knocks the ball away. Carrier, no chance.
Yeah, that is a 4th and 5. Ryan Hansen checks in. He'll punt from midfield. Rod Woodson is back. And it carries in. So when we come back, the Steelers will start from their 20. Back in Pittsburgh, Marv Albert with Paul Maguire. Crowd responding to the announcement on the public address. New England in front of Miami on the 4th, 17-10. But the Steelers must win to stay alive. O'Donnell completing to the running back, Leroy Thompson. Stopped by Pepper Johnson. Will Cowher, Pittsburgh area native, began his NFL playing career with the Cleveland Browns. Spent 3 years with the Browns and began his coaching career with the Browns. He was special teams coach in Cleveland for a couple of years. He said when he was there, Clay Matthews had already been there for 10 years. No.
So he's going to be there for a long time, I'll tell you that.
Second effort by Thompson, stopped by Ball. Yes, at one point there was a question whether Clay Matthews would be back. We talked about that yesterday with Bill Belichick. And he says they want him back. They may have to come to an accommodation in terms of the salary, but you get the idea that Clay does want to continue playing, and he's playing still at a very high level.
Well, Kevin Burns said, their PR guy said, if he doesn't play for the Browns, he'll play in a semi-pro league for a while.
It's a 3rd down and 1, and a 1st down picked up by Thompson.
Thompson that time showed you a little of what Barry Foster does. He goes straight at the hole, no dancing. Watch this run. Here's the handoff. He runs straight up the middle, right where the hole is supposed to be. You have to believe in your blockers. He did.
18 carries, 55 yards for Thompson, who averages just under 4 yards per carry. 1st down at the 35. O'Donnell hit from the backside as he completed to Eric Green. Green picks up the 1st down. Stephon Moore made the stop.
Clay Matthews got the pressure on, but that time Neil O'Donnell got the ball out to Green. Here comes Matthews. He's on a blitz. That ball is gone now. Green makes an outstanding catch. But the nice part about Green is when he catches the ball, he catches a 5-yard pattern. And watch how far forward he leads. There's the ball at the 40. Watch where it ends up. Fumble the ball, but the ball comes down underneath. Big as he is, he weighs 300 pounds.
Listed at what, 280?
That's a lie.
4th catch of the day for Green. Thompson weaving his way. Stopped by Pepper Johnson. And let's check in once again with Jim Lampley.
Want to hear a familiar story, Marv? I'll tell you in a minute. Frank Reich replacing Jim Kelly at quarterback with the score 23-3 Buffalo in the Hoosier Dome hits Billy Brooks from 30 yards out, and the returning Colt in his first visit as a non-Colt to the Hoosier Dome makes it 30-3. The AFC playoffs, Marv, will go through Buffalo.
All right, Jim. And here in Pittsburgh, it's a 2nd and 8 at the 48 for the Steelers, who are trailing by the score of 9-6. O'Donnell off the roll, still in trouble and brought down. Anthony Pleasant made the play, but a penalty marker is down.
They're looking downfield, and they're talking about, I would say, holding. And it can't be pass interference. The ball wasn't thrown. If it's a holding penalty, it'd be a 5-yard penalty. What happened? Better get this right. You're right in front of the Pittsburgh bench.
Contact. There is no foul.
Oops.
As the quarterback was out of the pocket. The flag is being picked up.
He's renewing all kinds of relationships with the officials, isn't he, Bill Cowher?
So it goes as a sack for Pleasant. 6th sack of the day for the Browns. Pleasant with 1.5 sacks. And a 3rd down and 13 back at the 43 with 5 minutes gone by in this fourth quarter.
I think it's encouraging for Pittsburgh as they know Cleveland can't move the ball either, so they're going to get it back a couple, 3 more times.
O'Donnell rifles one straight down the middle to the tight end. Eric Green, Eric Turner, the free safety, made the stop. That's good for 17 yards.
If there's any problem with his arm, it's not on this play here, because O'Donnell, look at Green. He goes right in the middle of that zone, and he sits down. Look at that ball. Hits him right in the numbers. And then afterwards, it seems like every time he catches the ball, Marv, he makes another 5 yards just by leaning.
O'Donnell's arm looks fine. We said that right at the start. Last week he was up high and wide off target. Not the case here.
No, he's throwing some pretty good balls today.
First down at the 40. The fake on the end around, and that was thrown in the direction of Hodge. Looked to be a mix-up.
They're trying to run a reverse screen pass to Hodge, and Hodge never gets out. And Cleveland Browns defense just did a great job at keeping Merle Hodge in the back, and then O'Donnell knows that he has to get rid of the ball. He takes a shot. Here it is. Merle Hodge comes in on the fake right there, that he can't get out. And watch this shot. Is that Pleasant again? Yeah.
He's had a terrific game.
No, excuse me, it wasn't Pleasant. It was James Jones. I'm sorry.
But Pleasant, I mentioned, had 1.5 sacks, 2.5 sacks for Anthony Pleasant, but that was Jones on the pressure. 2nd and 10 at the 40-yard line. And here's Hodge. Strong run by Merle Hodge. Brought down by Stephon Moore. So Hodge rips off 15. That's a big play.
Marv, he gets a tremendous block from John Jackson, number 65. Watch number 65, Jackson, on the outside. See the block on Pepper Johnson? He takes Pepper Johnson to the inside. He also gets a block downfield by Davenport, number 80. All right, here's Jackson. Clay Matthews goes by. Now watch this on Pepper Johnson. He just seals him off. Davenport, number 80, gets a block, and they get the first down.
It's a first down at the 25. O'Donnell with the time going end zone for Graham. Was he in or out? Outside the end zone. It is ruled incomplete.
Boy, Graham was flying, and O'Donnell got the ball. It was almost the perfect throw. And I think Pittsburgh knows they need a touchdown, not a field goal, to have been tied up. Take a look at this ball. It's almost a perfect throw. There's 1 foot down, and he doesn't drag the back foot. If he drags the back foot, he's got touchdown.
Jeff Graham covered by Najee Mustafa. 11th play of the drive. 2nd down and 10. O'Donnell swings to Thompson. Leroy Thompson getting close to the marker.
Eric Green blocks 2 guys. He blocks Clay Matthews and Mike Johnson. Watch this. Watch number 86 after this throw. Here he comes across. He's not going to get the ball. You see 57 and 59? Watch what he does here. Look at this. Goodbye, both of you. Hello. The old domino effect. I'll take the guy in front, knock them both out of the way. Just a tremendous block. What a heads-up play by that young man. And again, he should be in the Pro Bowl.
And the right corner, Najee Mustafa shaken up. It'll be a 3rd and 1 from the 16. We'll take a timeout. 8:13 remaining. And there's Najee Mustafa, formerly Reggie Rutland, once of the Minnesota Vikings. And has made it back from major knee surgery, and he's okay. 3rd down and 1. Thompson has the first down.
It looked like Neil O'Donnell got stepped on because it almost didn't get the ball back to Thompson.
Burnett and Stams made the stop. 7:45 remaining in this 4th quarter, and the Steelers on the move.
Here it is here, Neil O'Donnell getting the ball back. Now, does he get stepped on? Because it looks like he's almost tripping. Look at here, where he had a sidestep to make the play. They got the first down. That's all that counts.
It is a first down at the Cleveland 14. Browns with a 9-6 lead. Long drive being executed. Play action by O'Donnell. He fires. Touchdown! Eric Green. But a penalty flag is down at the goal line.
There is a flag down, and the Browns don't seem to be too happy. It's against Cleveland. What a massive target that Eric Green is.
Number 22. Penalty is declined. Touchdown.
That was on Selwyn Jones.
Well, head coach Bill Cowher looking to fire up the defensive unit.
Just want to fire up the special teams unit. Get down and cover.
Yes, the Steelers have taken a 12-9 lead. 14-yard touchdown pass from O'Donnell to Green, and Anderson puts it through. So Eric Green has been the major weapon for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have moved in front of the Cleveland Browns by 4.
Even Cowher gets fired up when he's saying good job. Look at him. Good job. Good. You. Hey, nice job. He's fired up. He went after the special teams coach and said, all right, let's do it. Let's get it done.
13 plays, 80 yards, 6 minutes and 9 seconds off the clock. And Pittsburgh has a 13-9 lead on the Browns. Here's Baldwin with the return. And he is stopped across the 15-yard line. And there's Eric Green, who now has 6 catches, 66 yards, including the game's only touchdown on that 14-yard pass play. Neil O'Donnell is having a pretty good day. He had a couple of drops, a couple of throwaways. He's 20 for 37, 201 yards, and that 1 touchdown.
And the most important thing, they're ahead, and that's what he's looking at. They're ahead 13-9 with 7:06 remaining in the game. And they got to lift again because New England just went back up ahead of Miami 20-17.
Now the crowd urging the Steeler defensive unit on. The Browns start from their 19. Testaverde with the tie. And it is, let's see, he caught it. Carrier held on. Mark Carrier with the bubble and was able to maintain possession.
You know, he runs a double move Carrier on this play. That gives you an idea of how much time that Vinny Testaverde has. He stops, he goes and stops again, and then Carrier comes back for the ball. Testaverde throws this ball. Look at the ball is bobbled. Carrier just stays with it, catches the ball, and he stays in bounds. That's outstanding.
Wow. That's his second catch of the day. First down up at the 32-yard line. 6:25 remaining in the 4th quarter. Steelers need the win to stay alive for a playoff berth. Leroy Hoard gets to the open field. Leroy Hoard breaks one. Hoard has been struggling right throughout. He's been minus yardage for the entire afternoon, and he rips one off for 32 yards.
And Greg Lloyd on the left-hand side of the screen gets himself caught upfield. You see that where he gets blocked? And when he's the linebacker on that outside, once he gets himself committed inside and upfield, there's really nobody left out there except corners and safeties. Woodson has to make the play from the other side of the field.
Last week, as we discussed earlier, Pittsburgh, so good against the run, most of the season was hurt by the Seattle running game, and now Hoard goes for 32. Here's Hoard again, and he fumbles. The Steelers say they have it.
Lloyd is the man that puts the hit. He comes all the way down the line of scrimmage and makes the play on this. He blew the last play, was back and makes a heads-up play.
And Pittsburgh has recovered.
But Greg Lloyd is the guy that really makes the play. He comes down the line of scrimmage. He knows he makes the play. You see 95 on the top. Watch him. He cuts it off. He sees the ball. He hand it off. Watch his play. Goes in, strips the ball. The ball comes out, and Green makes the play. And Hoard is knocked down. That is a fumble. Here it comes right into your face. Number 91, Kevin Green, is going to be the guy that gets it, but Lloyd strips it right here, right in the hole. The ball comes out, and Green's on it.
Kevin Green, who signed with Pittsburgh as a free agent after 8 years with the Los Angeles Rams, has had an outstanding season. First down at the 38-yard line. Well, Leroy Thompson stopped by Clay Matthews as we check out the scoreboard. Dallas maintaining the lead over the Giants. Detroit in front of Green Bay.
They're both in.
Game of interest to the Steelers. New England moving in front on the 37-yarder by Marv. And Buffalo pulling away from Indianapolis. It's a 2nd down and 9 at the 39. O'Donnell to the sideline with Graham and has a first down. Jeff Graham knifing his way at the marker.
Marv, what a difference it makes when you've got control of the ball game. You're up by 4 points. You're inside of 5 minutes, and they're thinking you're going to run. Now all you have to do is just sit back and watch how much room Graham has. He has all the room in the world on the outside. Mustafa back in the ball game doesn't make the play. It's first down. Now they're inside of 5 minutes. In the 4th quarter, every time they go out of bounds, the clock stops.
Well, Neil O'Donnell has had a terrific second half. First down at the 49-yard line. Again, Thompson picking his way. This time a straight ahead move, which is rare for Thompson.
Yeah, he made a nice cut right at the hole, and then he went straight ahead. But the blocking is just superb by the offensive line. He's going to go to your right here. There they come back. A handoff. That's number 33 is Hodge getting in there. Dawson making the play. And then Thompson picking up the first down. They're at the 38-yard line.
Thompson goes for 13. Down to 4:20. Remaining in the 4th quarter. Pittsburgh 13 and Cleveland 9. And again, Thompson to the 35-yard line. An advance of 3. Eric Turner, the free safety, involved on that tackle. It'll be a 2nd down and 7. Pittsburgh Steelers needing a victory, and they need some help to make the playoffs. They must beat the Browns, and they'll have to combine that with losses by 2 of the 3 following teams, the Dolphins, the Raiders, and the Jets. Dolphins are trailing in their game with the Patriots in Foxborough. Off the back pedal. The screen for Hodge. Earl Hodge weaving his way down to the 20-yard line. Stopped by Eric Turner.
We talked about a block before with John Jackson, number 65. Damani Dawson with a block. Watch Duval Love, number 67. The block that he makes. He's the guy that springs his play. On the right of your screen, 67 comes out. Here's the block on Clay Matthews. Right there. Bang. That hole is opened up. Earl Hodge picks up the first down.
14-yard pickup for Hodge, and the 7-year veteran from Idaho State has come up with a number of key plays as a receiver and as a runner.
And it's really nice when you have the ball and you see Duval Love sitting up there making a block for you and opening up a hole.
Thompson. And he is stopped by Pepper Johnson. Down to 2:40 remaining in this 4th quarter. And the Steelers with a 13-9 lead on the Browns. Now a timeout has been taken by Cleveland. When we come back, Pittsburgh has a 2nd and 7 from the 17. A reminder tonight here on NBC, all new episodes of Eyewitness Video and Sequest. And then you'll see the 2-hour movie premiere of Viper. That's tonight right here on NBC. 2 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. The Steelers have come from behind to take a 13-9 lead on the Browns. 2nd down and 7 down at the Cleveland 17-yard line. And the Pittsburgh offense has come to life in the 2nd half. Leroy Thompson now has run for 79 yards, 24 carries. Earl Hodge has played well. Neil O'Donnell has done the job, turning it in the 2nd half. That's Stone, number 20, in motion. Here's Thompson to the outside, stiff-arming his way for a first down. He put the move on both Eric Turner and Randy Hilliard.
But this offense is going to be thanking the defense in a lot of. All right, Clay Matthews is going to get himself caught inside. There's Clay Matthews. The block is there. See, once you get caught inside, Stone gets a block downfield on Eric Turner. But once the linebacker gets caught inside, Marv, there's nobody out there but a corner and a safety. So it gives the running back an awful lot of opportunity to get downfield. But again, the Pittsburgh Steelers got to be thanking their defense. The defense played a terrific ball game. The Cleveland Browns went up and down the field a few times and only ended up with 3 field goals and enabled the offense to get the ball back enough times to score.
Ron Earhart, the offensive coordinator, talking to his team. Ron of the philosophy of ball control, low turnover style. And that's one of the reasons that they like Neil O'Donnell. Even when the arm is not in tip-top shape, they really think so much of his leadership qualities and the fact that he runs the team so well.
He's a tough kid, and I think the most important thing about him, he is very patient. I mean, he knows that everything isn't going their way. He knows that you really don't have the great receivers on the outside. He knows that he has Eric Green, and they don't have Barry Foster. He is a very patient man.
It's a 1st and goal at the 9. And the hard hit made on Hodge by Mike Johnson. Straight ahead move by Merrill Hodge. Picked up a couple. 2nd and goal at the 7-yard line with 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. And Cleveland has taken another timeout. It's their final timeout.
But they'll get one at the 2-minute warning. So they, when they always say you got 3 timeouts, you actually have 4. And they know that they have to stop Pittsburgh here because the field goal only gives Pittsburgh a 7-point lead. Touchdown, game's over. I'll tell you one thing, Marv. I sit there watching the big guy, Green. Eric Green, he is just some kind of player. This guy is a great athlete. I mean, he is huge. We talked to him yesterday, folks, and they have a room over at the stadium where he walked through the door, and when he left, I didn't notice him coming in, but I did on the way out. There was no light shining through the door.
Yes.
He blocked out all daylight.
6 catches today for Green. He has 63 for the season. That's the most ever by a Pittsburgh Steeler tight end. Stone in motion. 2nd and goal from the 7. O'Donnell trying to hide the ball. Did not fool the Browns. Matthews and Ball will get credit for the sack.
The old hidden ball trick, huh?
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Matthews, you don't try to really fake out a guy like Matthews. I mean, he'll guess sometimes, like one play where he goes inside and misreads, but you don't outfox a guy that's been around as long as Matthews has.
Clay in his 16th NFL season, and there is the 2-minute warning. We'll be back in Pittsburgh in a moment. Coming up next on most of these NBC stations, it'll be game 2 of our doubleheader. And most of you will see the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Raiders. Denver has not won at the LA Coliseum since back in '87. Raiders make the playoffs if the Steelers should lose here to Cleveland. But if the Steelers go on and hold on for the victory, the Raiders must beat Denver to make the playoffs. 2 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. A 3rd and goal at the 13 for Bill Cowher and his Pittsburgh Steelers, who with a victory would go to a record of 9-7, and then will be keeping an eye on the scoreboard. Miami has taken the lead on New England in Foxborough 24-20. But the games that still will matter to the Steelers involve the Jets and Houston tonight and that Denver Raider game.
That's what Bill Cowher was just looking at. It was up on the scoreboard, and the people here are seeing it. Cowher just saw it, that Miami's ahead.
Our 10th play of the drive. And Thompson short of the first down. Turner and Johnson, Bill Johnson, combined to make the stop.
Well, and what the Pittsburgh Steelers will do here, they'll let that 40-second clock work for them. They can take it down to about 1:14 before they kick the field goal, or whether they'll kick it or not even risk it. You know, if they take it, they put the ball in play, they could get the clock underneath a minute.
And as the clock runs down, let's check in with Jim Lampley.
For some clutch play from the Dolphins, Marv, trailing 20-17 under 4 minutes to go. Power football, pitch sweep. Terry Kirby picks his way through blockers and tacklers. 15 yards for the touchdown that breathes new life into the Dolphin playoff hopes. They lead 24-20 over the Pats with less than 4 minutes to go. Back to Marv.
Thank you, Jim. And the clock is stopped with 1:15 remaining as the field goal unit checks in, and Gary Anderson has hit 2 of 2, 36 and 38 yards. For Anderson today, he is now 27 of 29 for the season.
And he really doesn't like the placement where this ball is going to be, Marv, because it's going to be right on the edge of the pitcher's mound. And that's where Royals going to have to hold it. There's a cutout there, and there is a little lip on that thing. They'll move it, and you can't move the ball. Here's the ball is on the hash mark. So if you see it, they're right at the edge.
It's about a 26-yard attempt. Royals will put it down. A low snap, and Anderson able to convert. Well, it did not matter. Royals did a nice job in turning the ball around on the low snap. And Anderson makes it 3 out of 3. A 26-yard field goal to extend the lead.
Here's a job by Royals. I watched it. This ball is down low, a little bit lower. All he has to do now is get the ball down and get the threads right in the front. And with Anderson there, he's only missed 2 field goals, folks, this year. In playing 8 games here in Pittsburgh outdoors and a few other ones outdoors. This guy is a terrific kicker, and he is going to the Pro Bowl.
He's hit his last 21 here at Three Rivers. A remarkable record. Pittsburgh 16 and Cleveland 9 with 1:11 remaining in this fourth quarter.
Can I tell a story one more time about when he was in Buffalo?
Feel free to.
Here he was in Buffalo. And when Chuck Knox was there, and they cut him because Chuck Knox said, I don't think this guy could ever get the ball over the defensive line or the offensive line. He's not going to be a very good kicker. And here he is in Pittsburgh going to the Pro Bowl, and I think the best kicker in the National Football League.
But you see that so often with kickers and punters.
There, you talk to coach, is really reluctant now to cut a kicker because if he goes someplace else and it's a star, look like a goat.
The kickoff by Anderson, a good one. Leroy Horde remaining in the end zone. As we mentioned earlier, his kickoffs have also been powerful and prevents the run back. So Cleveland will start from the 20-yard line. Testaverde at 12 of 23, and O'Donnell with the impressive numbers, 22 for 29, 226 yards.
And here's Pittsburgh with a 7-point lead. 1 minute and 11 seconds to go. Cleveland, no timeouts.
Metcalf in the backfield. 4 wideouts. And Testaverde completes. Michael Jackson, who has been very quiet today, has not seen much action. 15-yard pickup for Michael Jackson. That's his first catch. It is a first down. 1:03 remaining.
What a great job he did, though, to try to get the ball out of bounds and stop the clock. And that he did. That play only took 8 seconds. I hate the prevent defense. I really do.
First down at the 37-yard line. And Testaverde to a wide-open Mark Carrier. Gets inside the 40. Looks like a problem with the clock, huh?
The clock has not moved at all. It's still at 1:03. They haven't started the clock. But it's working on the field. Testaverde throws the ball down. They got it at 57 seconds, but that's wrong. They're going to have to reset the clock. But one thing about the prevent defense, Marv, we saw that thing with Carrier there. When you're in the prevent, you got all these people dropping back. It leaves the middle of the field wide open. And especially when you have 1 minute and some seconds.
Please reset the game clock to read 42 seconds.
And what I'm saying is, here's you've got a little over a minute, and you're going to give them the middle of the field. You're going to give them a 30-yard play when you have stopped them for the entire football game. For 59 minutes, you've shut this team down and allowed them to get only 3 field goals, and now you're going to let them get in a position to score a touchdown. I don't understand that.
And the Browns need a touchdown to tie the game.
Look at the middle of the field.
2nd and 10 from the 37 in Pittsburgh territory. Testaverde to the middle again. Mark Carrier inside the 15. The clock is running. We are down to a half-minute remaining.
He'll throw one away here and then have 3 more downs to try to tie this game up.
The Browns down at the 12. So that stops the clock with 24 seconds remaining in the 4th.
You believe that? When you talk about the middle of the field, people say, you know, we're going to go into a prevent. And look at the middle of the field. There's nobody there. They run a blitz, and you go down, and all you have to do is bring Carrier into the middle of the field. There's a tackle saved by Gary Jones, number 25. He saves a touchdown here. But you see that middle of the field is wide open.
2nd and 10 at the 13-yard line. 24 seconds remaining, 4th quarter. Testaverde is taken down. Kevin Green getting to the quarterback, Vinny Testaverde, with 19 seconds to go.
See, the clock stops while they set the ball on a quarterback sack. Now they'll start the clock again.
Green had 3 sacks last week, 14 and a half for the season. Testaverde throwing for the end zone. Did he catch it? No, he did not have possession. The indication that he bobbled it. Michael Jackson argues the call. We're down to 8 seconds remaining and a 4th down play.
You want to see a tough call for an official? I mean, you're talking about a game-tying play here. Here's the ball up in the air. Here's Michael Jackson. The coverage is there. Boom. And look at the ball. Does he have control of the ball? Boy, is that ever close. Now remember, the officials are looking at this thing at full speed. We are looking at it in a slow-mo camera.
4th down play. 8 seconds remaining. Testaverde has to go for the touchdown here, and it is broken up. Knocked away from Michael Jackson.
DJ Johnson, Marv, I'm going to tell you something. He made a great play. That ball was coming down in the hands of Michael Jackson. He knew he didn't have a chance to knock the ball down. So what he did, as soon as the ball hit Michael Jackson's hands, he knocks the ball away. Outstanding play by number 44, DJ Johnson. Watch this. There's Jackson. He can't get to the ball. But once it's there, now look what he does. And Michael Jackson, to make that a catch, this is a perfect example. You have to have 2 feet on the ground. He did have the ball in his hand. He does have the ball in his hands, but you have to get 2 feet on the ground. Johnson just knows he can't make a play on the ball until the ball is in Jackson's hands. Watch what he does. Now watch Jackson's feet too. Here's the ball in his hand. Johnson knocks it away. He didn't get any of his feet down, either one of them. Just an outstanding play by the defensive corner.
2 seconds remaining as the Steelers take over at the 17-yard line, and that will do it. A tough come-from-behind victory by the Steelers, 16-9, the final score, and now they have to play scoreboard and wait for other results to see if they make the playoffs.